In this video, we'll be looking at telling time in second grade. The TEK is 2.9G. Students will be expected to read and write time to the nearest 1-minute increments using analog and digital clocks. Students will also need to distinguish between AM and PM. In first grade, students did work on telling time. They worked on telling time to the hour and time to the half hour using analog and digital clocks as well. When we start working with telling time, we want to make sure that we provide the students with as many manipulatives as we can to just understand what that clock is, what the parts of the clock are, the two different hands, what they mean, and how the numbers on the clock function. So we can always use a Judy clock or some type of small clock that the students can manipulate and move the pieces around. You can also help the students understand how the minutes of the clock work by using Unifix cubes, setting up in groups of 5, and it will help the students understand that every group of 5 represents the digits around the clock. You can also find paper representations. This one's kind of big for our screen here, but you can see if I zoom out just a little bit more, then you can see that this just makes one big circle, but it allows the students to see the different pieces of the clock, how those 5-minute increments will work. I'm going to share with you a way that you can help students not get as confused as they start telling time to the minute by looking at another way to introduce the clock. Normally when we start introducing telling time, we would give the students this clock here and we would say, what time is it? It's 5 o'clock, because the hour hand is pointing to the 5. What happens later on is that when we have times to the minute or they go past, students start to become very confused, and we start asking them what time is on this clock, and now they're starting to use 6 o'clock because the hour hand is pointing to the 6. And that's what this statement in this picture is kind of explaining. So then we're kind of reteaching again, no, the space in between the 5 and the 6 is the 5 o'clock hour. We haven't gotten to the 6 yet. So a method or a strategy that you could use is to actually spend some time with the students teaching just the hour itself. And here's sort of a graphic of how that progression could actually go, how you can release those visual aids. But what it's doing in this very first one, and where you would want to spend your time with the students, is teaching them that this space right here is the 2 o'clock hour. So we would spend the time with the students asking them what time is on the clock. Let's look at the hour hand first. What space is the hour hand pointing to? And it's pointing to the space of the 2 o'clock hour. So we could work with the students with these colored clocks. I have an example here of one that can be used in the classroom, and it's just taking a clock face, coloring. I would spend time having the students actually color their own model of this so they can see that whenever the hour hand is pointing in the space between the 1 and the 2, it's pointing to the 1 o'clock hour. Back to this page here, it's just showing you how you can slowly release, instead of having the hours written in the spaces here, that these they're taken away, and then here the color is actually being taken away. When you're introducing telling times with this clock first, and you're spending time just talking about the hour hand, it is perfectly fine for the teacher to go ahead and tell the students what the minutes are. I remember in first grade, they're only doing to the hour and the half hour. So this very first clock right here, this is going to be something unfamiliar to them. So we want to spend time teaching what these different minutes mean, but then when we're starting to tell the time on the clock, we want the students, or a suggestion is to just teach the hour hand first, teacher providing the minutes, and then we can go ahead and combine those two together. It should just eliminate that confusion that students get when we go from saying the time on the clock is exactly 7 o'clock to now I'm not quite sure, because that hour hand isn't pointing to the 7, it's not pointing to the 8, so what hour is in this space right here? So students in second grade should be working on telling time to the minute. They should be doing analog and digital clocks, and also adding in AM and PM. If you have any questions, you can look at your instructional talk page, or you can contact us.